What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for rocking out with the Millionaire Morning Show. It is Tuesday, March 21st, 2023, year of our Lord. I started the show about an hour early because I'm testing some things out. I'm continuing to refine what it is that we do here over at the Millionaire Morning Show. And more importantly, I want to move it up maybe like another half hour, and that way we can ensure that we have the level of consistency that we want as far as live streaming truly in the morning, and ensuring that we can have that same time, same day, every single day. It's 2 things that I really want to solve for, and it's ensuring that we have the consistency that you guys can expect on a daily basis. As far as the time that we stream, we always gonna live stream. But number 2, I truly want it to be a morning show. I want it to be the thing that you see, experience, hear, and then also add value into your life first thing in the morning. The first thing that I do in the morning specifically is I pray. I brush my teeth, I wash my face, and then I pray, and then I study my Bible for a combination of about 40 to 45 minutes. It takes me about 15 to 20 minutes to brush my teeth and get myself together. Take some time. Let me stop there. Take some time and work on your mouth, all right? Tongue scraper, number 1. Brush your teeth, number 2, preferably an electric toothbrush. 3, water flosser. Then you use the mouthwash and the scope, all right? I may have to teach a small class on how it is that you're supposed to take care of your business. Make sure that you're groomed properly. And then after I pray and do all of that, then I make sure that, I shave my head, get in the shower, and all that other type of stuff. But neither here nor there. But my point is that I want to be one of the first things that you see in the morning to add positivity into your day, similar to how I experience positivity based off of the fact that I sit, I meditate, I pray, I read my word, and then I start to go about my day, which allows for me to be incredibly motivated to continue to do the thing that's in my best interest. But before we get started today, let me go ahead and check into the chat and see who in here. Shout out to my people. I see Lauren Love is in the building. Batman 4000 plus 11 said, let's go. Bayjerd, I guess that's the opposite of Jaybird, said, best morning show in Detroit. I absolutely, positively agree. Ran into some awesome people downtown. Here where my office is yesterday, and that was awesome. Classy Beats is my guy. T-Mac, I appreciate you, says, good morning, Bag Chasers. Florida Boy 727 is in the building, says, what's good, Bag Chasers. Big Fed meeting tomorrow, expecting to up rates a bit. So we're gonna talk about that tomorrow, and I'm gonna break down exactly what these rates are, how it's going to affect you, what my personal predictions are as far as how that's going to affect the economy, especially when you have all of the banking things going on and things like that, and also how it's going to affect you in consumer confidence. So that's gonna be awesome. Let's see. We got B Humbug said, "Good morning, people." Ali G is in the building. Let's see. Mike, that dude, I appreciate you. Good morning. SD, salute, salute. Kobe Jordan, good morning. Edward Williams, good morning. Treese Westmoreland, I appreciate you. S. Chanel, tuned in with me yesterday. DJ Cut a Cord, I like that. Devana, Chris J, I appreciate you, big dog. Ronnie Ron, what up, though? Rita, what up, Rita? Brandy, what's happening, baby girl? Gizmo, everything. Everybody that's tapped in with me. Eon, Jasser, Trust Dude, Treehouse, Ron. I appreciate everybody for continuing to roll with me. Again, this is the Millionaire Morning Show. We had a phenomenal show with Q on the panel. I just couldn't help myself. I wanted to speak to the guests and give a little bit of insight, but I didn't officially join the panel, so I'm still on my no panel movement. But me sitting in the chat sometimes, just watching some of these conversations take place, woo, it bothers me. I see my people over here from Nairobi, Kenya. Jay Woodfin, my guy, says big dog on a Tuesday morning. Yeah, we're going to start moving it up. So I officially want to do the morning show at 10 a.m. Eastern starting tomorrow. I eased y'all into it by doing it at 10:30, but I want to do 10 a.m. Eastern, maybe 10:15. 10 a.m. and between 10 a.m. and 10:15 Eastern tomorrow, okay? So you guys will be able to tap in, see what's happening, and then we'll go from there. All right, so let's get a little bit of the housekeeping out of the way. Make sure you tap into that Teach Hanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. The link is in the description. Also, hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. And then last but not least, I am doing a webinar tonight on the Patreon. Let me say it one more time. Tonight, I am doing a webinar on the Patreon for those of you that are looking to understand the sales, marketing, and growing your business aspect of what we do as far as bag chasing, how sales is affecting every single aspect of your life. You can create the best product in the world, but if don't nobody know about it, then it doesn't matter. So marketing is absolutely important, and how it is that you market your business in 2023 and going forward is completely different than how you did it in yesteryear, even from last year. How to build your business from scratch, allowing you guys to be able to come up on the panel and then be able to ask me questions. It is going to be an awesome webinar. If you've ever done any of my webinars, if you've ever attended any of my mastermind sessions, most of them are in the Patreon for you to replay. And this one will be on replay for those of you that cannot make it. But at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, we will be doing the live webinar for you guys and the Bag Chaser. So if you're not a part of the Patreon, please don't sit here and ask me how I can continue to give you free information. Do not email me how it is that I can pour into you. I need you to actually pour into yourself. So make sure you tap into the Patreon tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, free for all of the Bag Chasers. All of my events are free. Shortly after that, tomorrow, I am going to be announcing the place and the location of the next Patreon meetup in person. So that means that you're going to have time early May to get yourself together, make sure that you're taken care of, not be looking like a dusty, get your attitude right, get your mouth right as far as making sure that you're talking to grown men correctly, and get your hygiene up, and then get prepared to meet some of the most awesome people in the world as far as your network, my network, the Patreon, the Bag Chasers. You can also connect with them inside of the Discord. That link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos. And then we going to do the work. So shout out to Kingdom Mind at 1121 with the super chat, my first of the day. Says, good morning, sending a tad of love and salute. Thank you, Kingdom Minded, for the 20 ball. I love you. I appreciate you. You have always been holding me down for a long time now, and it does not go unnoticed. I cannot appreciate and thank you guys enough for always supporting the platform, for always making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do and taking care of business. So absolutely, positively awesome. Thank you for the first super chat of the day. You are my heart. You are my love because you are my tribe. All right. I am going to be reading super chats throughout the day. Again, thank you to my tribe and my friends. You guys are my family because you are the ones that's going in the direction that I'm going in. Love, peace, and hair grease. So let's go ahead and get started with the show. First and foremost, I wanted to start with a question. Where is Hassan Campbell? Now, it's not that I'm actually looking for Hassan Campbell, but I do think that he is a necessary voice here on YouTube. I don't necessarily have to agree with everything that somebody says in order for me to enjoy the toxicity that comes along with or the entertainment aspect of YouTube. So some things that I tune into in order to get some information, right? I look at car channels, car reviews. I like to look at hunting videos as far as animals hunting each other over there in Africa. I like to do the how-to. I look at homes. I study a lot of different things on my YouTube subscription and algorithm page. But occasionally I'll walk across and see somebody like a Hassan Campbell. Now, Hassan Campbell don't really speak to me, right? He doesn't resonate with me as far as what his content is. However, I do study the people that are doing it incredible. And so when I see that he resonates with a certain demographic of people, or he's able to keep the attention of people, I study people that do that really well, right? And so I don't necessarily have to like you. You don't have to be my demographic. Same with the Fresh and Fit guys. I don't have any problem with Fresh and Fit, but I'm not their target demographic as far as who it is that they're reaching with their stream. However, I am able to look at them and observe, man, they doing this right, they doing that right. I like how it is that they bringing this person in. This is how they do it. I'm studying to better understand how I can apply certain things over into my own streams or my own platforms and things like that. And that's what the greats do. The greats study other greats, or the greats then look at other people that are doing certain things that are really great, and then they implement it into their own life. But somebody sent me an email this morning and basically just said, where's Hassan Campbell? And so I go on this deep dive. I see y'all in the chat saying y'all can't stand that guy. I don't necessarily care for him either, and neither does Charleston White. But I'm like, where's Hassan Campbell? And so I go on this deep dive, right? And I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a search. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. See what I'm looking at? This is the stuff that I'll be looking at on YouTube. Car videos, all that kind of stuff. So whatever. So let me go ahead and type into the search bar. And the first thing that comes up when I'm looking at where's Hassan Campbell is other videos that's basically saying that he's possibly deleted from YouTube. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because usually when you put somebody into the search algorithm, the first thing that's going to pop up is their content or their channel and stuff like that. But I don't see anything. I see my dog Dewberry is live over there. Shout out to my dog Anthony Dewberry. I got me live, right? Because I'm talking about Hassan Campbell. Ain't that funny how I pop up when I type in his name? But I don't see anything Hassan Campbell related. I don't see any channel. I don't see any of that. Now, a lot of y'all may not be familiar with Hassan Campbell. Let me filter it and go by channel. Nah, I don't see nothing. Now, Hassan Campbell had now he got the Raw and Uncut channel still up, which kind of now gives me a little bit of insight. So this was supposed to be like his alternative channel, because I know he had got some strikes on his other channel. Now, let me look up something else really quickly before we continue. Let me see something.
Anyone with a YouTube channel can temporarily hide or permanently delete their YouTube channel. In this video, we'll show you how. To hide or delete your channel or your channel's content, follow these steps. sign into YouTube Studio.
Now, I thought that it was only a way for you to be able to delete your YouTube channel. I didn't know you could hide your entire channel.
From the left sidebar, choose Settings. Select Channel and then Advanced Settings. At the bottom of the page, choose Remove YouTube Content. You will then be taken to a page to enter your sign-in details. If you'd like to hide your YouTube channel, select I want to hide my content and follow the steps. If you want to delete your
All right, so you can hide or you can delete your YouTube channel, which I'm assuming that you can then unhide your YouTube channel. But again, one of the problems with this thing when I'm evaluating what's going on with Hassan Campbell is why would he leave this channel up with over 100,000 subscribers? Because this other channel had like 400 and something thousand subscribers. Why would he leave this channel up, but then he hide the other one? Because I looked at some of these other ones and they were saying, yeah, you know, Hassan Campbell's channel got his snot box rocks and all of this other type of stuff. It's just the same that he said because he's from New York. And all of these New York dudes, they be sounding and dressing the same. They be looking just like they from the Wu-Tang Clan back in early 90s or some crap like that. But now, at first, I was thinking, well, maybe he just hid his YouTube channel because he got another deal on the table or something like that. But now I'm starting to think that Hassan Campbell, his original channel, must have got deleted. I don't know. He does have a cult-like following, and I'm trying to understand it. I know that he had got a copyright, not a copyright strike, a community strike. He had got a community strike. Now, one of the ways in which these community strikes work, let me go ahead and jump up off here real quick. One of the ways that these community strikes work is you can get up to 3 strikes. However, the strikes get removed after a certain amount of time. So first you get a warning, right? The second thing that you get is you get a strike. Now, I think the strike is that you can't stream for like 2 weeks. But the strikes then de-escalate and they remove, I believe, after 6 months. I'm not sure. Let me look this up. Let me just look this up just to make sure. I just want to understand it really quickly. All right, community guideline strikes. I got to do this deep dive for y'all. All right, let's see. What happens when you get a strike? I'm going to read the super chat shortly. First is a warning. We understand that mistakes happen. You didn't mean to violate our policies. That's why the first violation is typically only a warning. You only get one warning, but this warning remains on your channel. So the warning never goes away. You don't get reset back to the warning, okay? Next time your content is found to violate the community guidelines, you get a strike. Now, I'm not going to go over what the community guidelines are. They left up to interpretation, whatever. So the first strike, we find content that doesn't follow our policies. For the second time, you get a strike. Strike means you will not be allowed to do so you only get 1 week ban. All right, so if you get a strike, you only get the ban for 1 week. You can't upload videos. You can't do a live stream. You can't schedule a video to become public, create a premiere, add a trailer, create custom thumbnails, edit whatever. So basically, you can't do anything on your channel. All right. Your scheduled public content is set to private for the penalty, for the duration of the penalty. After 1 week, they restore full privileges, but the strike remains on your channel for 90 days. Okay, so basically, you can do your thing after a week, but the strike remains on your channel for 90 days. But after 90 days, if you don't get caught doing nothing else egregious, then you back chilling. Sounds fair enough. Second strike, if you get a second strike within the same 90-day period as your first strike, you will not be allowed to post content for 2 weeks. If there are no further issues after the first 2-week period, we restore full privileges automatically. Each strike will not expire until 90 days from the time that it was issued. All right. So I never really paid attention to this because, I didn't really trip about it. But me trying to understand what's going on with Hassan Campbell It's causing me to do a little bit of a deep dive. 3 strikes in the same 90-day period, which has got to be hard to do. Results in your channel being permanently removed from YouTube. Each strike will not expire until 90 days from the time it was issued. Deleting content doesn't remove a strike. Now, I know Hassan Campbell. All right. Now, I know Hassan Campbell specifically. I think he had mentioned that he had got a strike, which was one of the reasons why he had created the second channel, just in case his first channel went down. All right. Here's the thing. I honestly think that I'm not sure he's gotten removed. If I had to guess, I think that he's gotten removed, which I don't agree with, because I don't want anybody's money to get messed up. I don't believe that anybody should get removed. But if he did, that would be messed up. But it seems like his channel got removed and it's not hidden. If the channel got removed, that's unfortunate. I'm going to keep an eye on this, because this is bigger than Hassan Campbell. I don't tune into Hassan Campbell's content in order to hear what Hassan Campbell got to say. I can care less. I think that this is a bigger issue with content creators in general. I got a hole in my lip. Somebody said the shirt that I got is fire. All my gear be fire. I'm so fly. All my gear is fire. So, yeah, I'll keep an eye on this whole Hassan Campbell situation, because I think that it's important for us to pay attention to what's going on. If this is a trick or something like that, or if this is him trying to pull a fast one in order to create more controversy or to get people talking about him, then it's an incredible marketing trick. But I'll keep an eye on Hassan Campbell. Let's continue. Oh, not that. Amazon. Let's get to the money. Amazon. So Amazon had previously issued a huge layoff within the company, the first ever within the company. Now Amazon is laying off another 9,000 employees. Why is this important to you, even if you don't work at Amazon? We'll discuss that, but let's go ahead and rock out with the video.
We've got some breaking news right now. Amazon is saying it is laying off an additional 9,000 employees. This news coming from CEO Andy Jassy in a memo to Amazon employees that is now shared on the company's website. He says that most of these reductions are going to be in Amazon Web Services, in the company's People Experience and Technology Solutions business, what they call PXT, in advertising, and in Twitch. He says this was a difficult decision, but one that we think is best for the company long term. And he also says, you might wonder why we didn't just announce this in January when we announced the elimination of 18,000 positions.
So, originally back in the beginning of the year, this was back when Elon Musk first took over Twitter, and it was unpopular to be able to lay off people from the technology sector or from technology companies. Amazon originally announced 18,000 layoffs of employees. Now, Amazon employs hundreds of thousands of employees, right? The caveat to this, though, is that people are not used to technology companies, the big ones, all in unison starting to lay off employees. More importantly, the sector by which they're laying off employees matter. All of these technology companies, including Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, they all overhired people during the pandemic, especially when things were really great. As far as the Fed was continuing to print money, the rates was really low. The cost of borrowing money was really cheap. What does that mean, Anton? All of these companies, even though they're incredibly profitable, use debt. And they use debt because the cost of borrowing money was cheap. Now, as the Feds continue to raise rates, as the banking sector continues to go in turmoil, as you as a consumer continue to face high inflation, the Fed had printed more money during the pandemic than they ever had. If you were investing in anything, I mean, I don't care what you were doing, day trading, Forex, all of the worst things that you can invest in, buying any stock, you could not miss. You could not. If you didn't make money during the pandemic, you was a whole fool, not a half a fool. I would never even go into investment banking or anything. Don't even think about it if you didn't make money during the pandemic. Everybody was getting money during the pandemic. But it was a false sense of security because it was a temporary thing. And I was warning people during that time that while you thought that you were winning, all you were doing was preparing for a massive layoff. And I had been beating this in your head. And a lot of people were saying, well, Anton doesn't know what he's talking about because nobody is laying anybody off, but it was coming, right? And so the thing about money is that there's cheap money and then there's expensive money. Cheap money is when rates are incredibly low, which means that it's barely costing you anything in order to be able to pull money out. Now, Anton is an advocate against debt, especially for people that are early participants in becoming successful and trying to figure out how it is that they should live their life. Why? Because you don't understand how money works. You don't understand how to look at things from a business perspective. When I say that these companies use debt, if they were to pull money over from where it is that they have their cash stash, let's say, for example, you got these global companies, right? And one of the things that Trump was trying to do, and one of the reasons why you don't understand why it was important for him to be president, despite his dark past and background, shout out to Stormy Daniels for messing it up for everybody, was he was trying to incentivize companies to bring their money and their resources back to the United States of America. So part of his tax reduction plan was to get more money from these technology companies and from these large companies back circulating into the atmosphere of what was going on in the Americas, right? Because if you got money making money over in Europe, and you got money over here in Swiss banks, and you got money that you're making over here in Taiwan and China and all of this other type of stuff, to bring it back over into the United States of America is going to cost you because it's going to be a high tax rate that's associated with it. So Apple, for example, that is cash flush, has money in different sectors of the world based off of where they do business, but they refuse to bring the money back. So then what they do is they leverage debt, especially when money is cheap, in order to continue to do things, expand operations, so on and so forth, because of tax purposes, it long term will allow for them to actually be a lot more or benefit a lot more based off of the fact that they can reinvest in a company and they don't have to pay exorbitant taxes in order to bring it back into the United States of America. Because then what happens? You get more Build Back Better plans, you get more social services, and as they continue to make money overseas, why would they give you a cut of it when you didn't do anything for it? And so what Trump was trying to do during his administration, and this is why I like to break things down from a C student's perspective, what he was trying to do is lower the tax rate, especially for companies that did business in other countries, and incentivize them to bring that money so that we can bring it back into circulation. We can build more things. We can have more jobs. It's a trickle-down effect. And when companies spend more money in your environment, it then creates more opportunities for the people around you, because when you have an anchor, University of Michigan is an anchor for Ann Arbor. Google is an anchor for Mountain View, California. Apple is an anchor, right? When you had Tesla move their headquarters over into Austin, that's why all of the young millionaires from New York and Silicon Valley is moving over into Texas and Austin, Texas specifically. You become an anchor company that then is a feeder for all of the other suppliers, the companies, the restaurants, the workers, even if you don't directly work for that particular entity, in order to build up the tax base and then ultimately make that a livable community. When you don't have jobs, when you don't have an anchor, when you're largely depending on the federal government in order for your city to survive, that's when you start getting urban decay, horrible community centers, grass not cut in the park, depressed property tax values. All of these things are affecting your community, which also feeds into the amount of money that goes into your schools, right? It's a downward slope and effect that then you are affected in everything that you do, right? So when you see this happen, when you see these layoffs, thank you for the compliments. When you see these things happen, and when you say bad man Trump, you're really fighting against your own well-being, because then that money and those resources and that when China comes over here and do business, and then they make all of the money, and y'all love TikTok and all of this other type of stuff, and they get all the information, they benefit as a result of it, because they're taking money out of what it is that we do here. Here, let me break it down from a C student's perspective even better for you. Vegas works The reason why Vegas works is because people take money from wherever they at. They fly into Vegas, they drop a bunch of money, they have a bunch of fun, and then they leave the money and they go back home broke to their little lady that didn't know what happened in their bank account, right? They lose their business, they lose their house. All of it goes into the Vegas coffers. It gets spread out over into the community, and everybody benefits, everybody wins, except for the little man that flies back home and ain't got no money in his pocket. When you start to get casinos in other places, like, for example, one of the worst things that could have ever happened, in my opinion, in the Detroit economy, even though it did prop up what was happening during the time of the recession and things like that, is to put 3 casinos, and you had Windsor over there in Canada, inside of a city that didn't have any more anchor companies because the auto companies and the steel companies were going through it. Now we have Quicken Loans. Now we have Dan Gilbert. Now we have a technology sector. Now we have a Google campus over here. Now we got Microsoft inside of Campus Martius Parks and things like that. So you have a diversification of different companies that's then pouring into what it is that we're doing as far as the Detroit sector, right? But when the casinos came in, nobody flew to Detroit, especially during 2008, in order to gamble. They was going to Atlantic City. They was going to Vegas. And so what happened was it became a drain on the people that actually live here. They bust in all of the seniors, all the local people, they would make money, and then they would go and drop their money inside of the casino. And then you had something like an MGM Grand or something like that, siphoning it off back into the corporate headquarters of MGM Grand, which is not here in Detroit, which then continued to depress the economy. The money didn't circulate the way that it was supposed to be circulating. And so when you're making these informed decisions and you got these large companies or entities or casinos or these different policies or the different legislative branches are making decisions as to the tax base or what happens within your economy, locally, you are going to be affected if you don't understand and you're not participating in the process. If you don't understand what's happening with the millages, if you're not going to the city council meetings, if you don't know who your treasurer is, if you don't know who's legislating for you inside of your House of Representatives and Congress and all of these other things, and you don't participate because you say that voting don't works, it's just because that you're not informed. So these are big deals. And I'm going to read the super chat shortly. When you see an Amazon laying off 9,000 people, you don't just say, well, these people are losing a job. You're trying to understand exactly what's happening within that atmosphere by which they're laying off in. Where is this happening? Is it happening in this city? And is it happening in this city? Oh, they're continuing to build warehouses, but they're laying off within the technology sector, not necessarily the needed jobs, not necessarily cloud engineers, not software engineers, not these people, but they're laying off all of the other people that say that they're part of IT, but doesn't actually have a real skill set because they realize that they don't need them, which also trickles down into the economy. All right, so let's continue.
At Amazon, he says that the teams had not yet finished their assessments of what was necessary for this year, and they didn't want to rush through those decisions. So that's why this additional 9,000 is being announced today. And Brad, obviously each one of these represents somebody who is losing their role, but it is also just the bigger picture in the tech industry that efficiency is the name of the game right now.
Yeah, and that's the continued message that you hear from either Amazon or even a Meta Platforms that upped its own headcount reduction number, and as of recent as last week, as one thing that we've continued to see within these plans going forward, and especially with the announcement of Amazon here, even as they're communicating with these employees, is where that shuffling, the reshuffling of some of the headcounts as you have massive layoffs that take place at the tech companies that have the largest headcounts out there, where those employees are able to find jobs elsewhere, because that's going to be critical in ensuring that we still do maintain some of the broader employment situation that has still continued to operate from a broader sense of strength. It's just a matter of, okay, where in this displacement are there the replacement or the filling of roles elsewhere that still remain open, even as more hiring freezes are starting to come on? I think that's what a lot of employees that may be impacted by this might potentially be going through their heads right now.
Yeah, I mean, we have talked to companies that are still hiring. We talked to Adobe last week, for example, and they talked about that they are still in hiring mode. One more thing I just wanted to mention that Jassy says he remains very optimistic, he says, about the future and the myriad of opportunities we have, both in our largest businesses, stores and AWS, and our newer customer experiences and businesses in which we're investing. So
of course he's going to say that because that's CEO speak. All that is jargon and mumbo jumbo for the general public that don't really mean anything. There then becomes a greater competition for the best workers. And you know who then gets affected as a result of it? All of y'all that just want to take these quick courses. You want to take these crash classes. You want to do these boot camps. Now, are boot camps bad? No. Do boot camps prepare you to actually do the job? No. Are boot camps as good as community colleges and then going to school for the thing that you actually want to get a degree in? Boot camps don't even compare. When I give people advice, so you tap into my coaching calls and you say, Anton, what is it that I need to be doing? What path should I take? Should I take the shortcut or the long road? I think you should have both a short-term goal and a long-term goal. But if you want to be competitive and you don't want to find yourself on the outs, you then want to do the thing that you're long-term going to be shooting for, not the thing that quickly gets you a job now. All right? Because then when these workers go out into the field, let's just say, for example, this worker is really good, and I've shown you videos on this channel of cloud engineers or different people that wasn't even fucking doing nothing all day, that may have been a software engineer and they get laid off from Google. That person, as much as we laughed at them, is going to get another job at Adobe. They're going to get another job at Apple. They're going to get another job at another non-technology company that's building out a technology practice. And then it's going to leave you on the outs, because if they got to choose between them and you, because they already have the degree and they have the resume experience to say that, hey, I was working at Google, they're going to choose them because the only thing that they have to go off of is what the two candidates look like on paper, right? One of the reasons why I created a YouTube channel originally, the Anton Daniels channel, was to document the journey and also to market myself more effectively in corporate America, to separate myself from those that were just on paper as a resume and then those that were actually looking for a cultural fit. I talk about this in the Patreon. I'm going to talk about it some more tonight on how to market yourself more effectively, not just from your business, but also personally. Your online resume, which is the videos that you make, the social media that you have, and how it is that you're presenting yourself online, is going to be much, much, much more effective as a result of you taking it seriously than looking at it as just another opportunity to get a job. If you want to market yourself more effectively, if you want to market your business, you need to be tapping into the webinar that I'm doing tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern inside of the Patreon. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So that's some good news and some bad news as it relates to Amazon layoffs. Now, the trickle-down effect, and I'm going to get to this into a minute, right? Let me read a few of these super chats, because I do want to acknowledge the people that continue to support the platform. Leon Simon says, good morning in my Ty Tribbett voice. Anton is looking like a brand new day. Let's get it. Salute. Salute to my dog, Leon. Thank you for the fireball and supporting the platform. Shinsi says, salute to you, Shinsi. I appreciate you for the 2-ball. The Real Geddes says, do you have any kind of mentorship programs? Thanks. The only mentorship program that I have currently, because of capacity issues, based off of the fact that I have a limited amount of time and I'm trying to reach as many people as possible. There's only really 3 ways. The first way, it's a no-go, because it's a mentorship program that I actually implement in real life with young men the ages 14 through 24. The last of them are about to graduate. I am putting them through college. I've given them jobs. It has been a drain on me trying to groom these young men into being the men that they're supposed to be. Some of them have wind up going off into not the military, but the National Guard, doing incredibly well. Some of them are in software engineering. They graduate this year, the last of them. Some of them are doing incredibly well. None of them fell off. I'm very proud of my guys, but those are the last of them. I did my time. That is not happening again, all right? That's the first way. The second way is the Patreon, right? The Patreon is the space that we do the work in. It's a community of people that go in the direction that you're going in. I fly to different cities. I meet with y'all. I tap in with y'all, but I cannot separate myself from my tribe because they need me and I want to add the most value as possible into them. The third way is to book a coaching call. I am not going to recommend that everybody try to book a coaching call, because if you're not ready to do this work, then I'm going to be kicking your ass. That's A. B, you have to send me an email at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and then you have to make sure you schedule yourself as a part of my schedule. I have Zoom available. I have regular phone calls available. But I am booked out like at least 2 months out. So if you send me an email today, it's a possibility you can get in within the next 2 months. So I would advise you guys to tap into the Patreon. It is a strong possibility that you would be able to interact with me in person and on the Patreon more effectively than you will be, in a coaching call or anything like that. Especially on this webinar tonight, because I'm allowing for y'all to be able to come up and ask me questions specifically pertaining to you so that we can solve for how it is that we can make you more successful. But that's a really, really great question. Thank you. Jalen Hawkins, also with the 5-ball, says just to show love. Thank you, Jalen. I appreciate you for rocking out with me. You are absolutely awesome. Let me read a few more of these super chats before we get going into the next subject. Mr. Maximus says, good morning. I'm late to service. Walt Disney said they are laying off 7,000 from ESPN. We're going to get into that tomorrow. I know about it. We're going to get into that tomorrow. Layoffs all across the board. And that's why I wanted to break it down to you, again, from a C student's perspective, because I want you to understand how it affects you all the way from the top as far as politics, into the technology companies, into the small businesses, and then you personally in your household. We're going to get into the household aspect of it. Ronnie Robinson says, good morning, Anton. Boot camps are great for preparing a certification exam or cert exam. I'm seeing now more positions are not asking for the 4-year computer science degree, but more on certs. True. However, if you want to position yourself, think about it like this. If I get my degree, my ceiling is much higher because I'm not just trying to get a job. I'm trying to grow within a company. When you start to move up in that company, right, the barrier to entry becomes much higher because they're not just looking for a code monkey anymore, right? More importantly, your real life experience is going to substantiate when you get into those companies and when you get into those interviews of whether or not you can actually perform on the job. It's going to separate the real from the fake. And so take your time. You can work at what it is that you're trying to do long term at the same time. A lot of people like to rush through it instead of actually doing a thing that's in their best interest long term. A short-term goal is only that, a short-term goal. A long-term journey will allow for you to be able to build wealth and plan for your family more effectively. So it's no wrong way to do it. It's really just a matter of where you're trying to go and what it is that you're trying to solve for. All right. Thank you for the question. I think that that's absolutely good insight. I just wanted to add some context to that. Also, shout out to Darrell J. Holding us down with the 2-ball. I appreciate you. All right. So what are we talking about now? And I'm going to continue to read the super chats throughout the show. So thank you to Nino. I appreciate you. What are we talking about now? First-time home buyers are now priced out. Now, how do we go from layoffs at Amazon, right? 18,000 at the beginning of the year, another 9,000. If my mental math serves me correct, that is 27,000 jobs from one company. Now, Amazon is not laying off in the warehouses. They need more drivers. They need more stockers. They need more pickers. They need more delivery people. They need more fulfillment by Amazon, FBAs. They need all of that, right? Until they continue to work and invest in the automation of what's going on inside of these warehouses. I'm told you I'm a C student. Sometimes I get caught up in my words because I'm not that smart. The automation is happening inside of these warehouses, right? And the automation will continue to remove the need for warehouse workers because it's hard to find people to do the jobs that they don't really pay a lot of money for. It's just a hustle. But the trickle-down effect, right? Because you have multiple different factors that's working against you. You have layoffs. You have high interest rates. You have owners that have not been impacted financially as much as they should yet because the market correction has not yet hit you the way that it's supposed to. Even though inflation is raising up the cost of money, it's still pricing out the people that then want to get into first-time home buying. Interest rates are higher. Inflation is higher. Jobs are not as plentiful. And then you then have to find a roommate or better yet, a partner. That's why they say the partners now. They don't say I want a wife, I want a husband. They say I want a partner because it's then going to cost you or you're going to need at least 2 people to make a certain amount of money in order for you to even be able to get into the room in the first place, into the home buying process in the first place. They're going to make it easier for you. They're going to say, listen, you can get the 3.5% down. You can do the Bank of America with the 0 down. You can do this, but you're going to have to get PMI, private mortgage insurance. And you're going to be paying it for the next 30 years. A 30-year mortgage is, in my opinion, is almost or just not or just below as bad as a 96-month car loan. We're going to get into it. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. And also on top of that, make sure that you tap into the Patreon webinar tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
So tonight's original, with in-depth reporting on a topic we've been watching, let's talk about the American dream. A new series where we're looking at the promises that a lot of people think about when they think of the promise of America and whether or not those promises are actually happening for people. This week, it's about housing. Really, part of the definition of what the American dream is. Work hard, save money, then buy a house. Maybe have your family in that house. But that milestone is becoming more and more out of reach for a lot of us. First-time homebuyers made up the smallest percentage ever last year, only about 25%. So why?
First-time homebuyers, lowest percentage ever. Now, that is much different than somebody like me, who is not a first-time homebuyer. I am a person that has been buying homes for a long time now. As a matter of fact, as I showed y'all yesterday, and as a lot of y'all have been familiar with over a period of time, I've even shown inside of the Patreon last year my process of buying land and how it was that I was leveraging the gnawing and the gnashing of teeth and a divorcee that then sold me a bunch of her land. I am leveraging business relationships in order to get into at a lower barrier to entry, which would lower my cost. Also, waited patiently when everybody else was running out during the pandemic and overpaying for their homes. Anton didn't buy anything. I was continuing to buy land. Lumber prices continued to go down. The availability of workers and contractors are now starting to free up because building processes have slowed down. Home building has slowed down. Construction workers are now looking for more work. Now it is the time for me to strike. Even though I'm going to overpay in order to learn the information, I am now going to get it at a much cheaper rate than I would have had I rushed into something instead of being patient and open to the possibilities and then letting things play out the way that they're supposed to play out. But think about it. Represents the lowest ever share. That means that if you don't have money, if you have not already been into this game, if you don't have a level of wealth or equity into your home in order to be able to transfer that over into another home, which is not a first-time home buyer, if you are a first-time home buyer, you are at the lowest rate ever. Affordability, out of the roof. Interest rates, much higher than they were yesteryear. Jobs, not as plentiful. Inflation, very high. People do not have the capital and the availability even to be able to get into these homes. And then when you combine the relationship status of most people, meaning that you need somebody else in order to be able to cover that other side of that home mortgage, you need a partner, the barrier to entry becomes higher.
Why is that happening? And more importantly, is it going to change? NBC News correspondent Sam Brock has the story.
In housing markets all over the country, big and small, coastal and inland, there's a riddle that first-time homebuyers like Kevin Lederer of Orlando are trying to solve.
When did your reality come crashing down on trying to buy a house?
About 2 years ago when I started making offers and getting outbid nonstop.
How do you navigate higher home prices, stiff competition, and now an uptick in interest rates all climbing in the last few years? Increasingly, the answer for millions is simple. You don't.
Everyone has the hope of owning a house. Is this shattering that illusion for many families?
Somewhat, yeah. Being a 31-year-old, recently married, having our first child, raising a family, like you want to have that American dream of having.
Look at that American family right there. If that's not the wholesome American dream, that is the picture of America right now. Actually, it's not. America is a melting pot. But that is the picture of America. I'm reading Super Chat shortly. Thank you to everybody that's contributing to the platform. This man is broken emotionally because he cannot afford the American dream, even though he said he did everything the right way. These are the people, the face of America, that you guys say you can survive off of $47,000 a year. Okay, let's continue.
A home that you can build a family in.
It's not as if Kevin, who works in private investigative services, and his wife Hayden, a 28-year-old wedding coordinator, haven't been trying. The new parents saved up for a down payment for years and
If that's not the whitest baby that I've ever seen in my entire life. If that baby don't have makeup on, that baby has not seen sun since the day that they came out. That is all lighting. That baby has not seen sun. But that's a completely different conversation. I'm not going there.
collectively make just under $200,000 annually.
They collectively make think about this, guys. They collectively make over $200,000 annually. I remember when I was broke, right? Or I went broke. Because when I was 18, I was making 18 going on 19. I made the equivalent of $118,000 a year. Let me say that again. I've been a bag chaser since I came out the womb. When I was 18 going on 19, I was making over $118,000 a year. This was back in like 2001. When all of my peers was trying to get into college, I was already killing the game. Now, I did not do the thing that was in my best interest as far as dedicating all of that money, which is one of the reasons why I'm on y'all so hard. I did save 25% of my income. My OG taught me that inside of the plant. My brother got me inside of the steel plant. I was working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I was a hustler. I had work ethic. But me and Rita, we was out here balling and having a good old time. Now, I lost my job in like 2006, 2007, 2008. I realized that everything is messed up out here. Wind up moving back into my mom's basement. Never touched the original 25% that I ever messed with. Got all of my cars repossessed. Made the informed decision, went back to school, went to community college, went and got my software engineering degree, went into corporate America, did whatever it is that I do from a business perspective, so on and so forth. You guys know the story. Most of you that's been here for an extended period of time. However, I remember during my darkest days, and me and Rita will watch HDTV, right? And we would watch House Hunters. I don't know if y'all familiar with this program. It was called House Hunters, right? And on House Hunters, they would have this program and everybody would come in and they would say, oh, we're looking to buy a new home or we're looking to buy a vacation home. And then they would say, oh, okay, well, what do you do? And she would say, well, I make fairies out of fairy dust. And then the husband would say, yeah, and I make plastic cans. And they would say, well, what is your housing budget? Well, our housing budget is like $900,000. And I'd be like, are they giving fake professions or something like that? Because why is she making fairies out of fairy dust? I'm a sunflower planter. And then he would be like, yeah, and I'm in a band. I'm in a local band. What is your budget? $9 million. And I just could not fathom that for the life. I'm like, how is these people house hunting in the middle of the recession with this huge budget and they don't even do nothing for a living? This couple makes $200,000 combined per year. They have one child, not two, not three, not four, like y'all be trying to have, and y'all have y'all baby mamas and y'all over there in Miami shooting up the place over in Miami Beach. They have one child, an infant that doesn't even eat that much. And y'all don't even know how much it costs in order to raise a child. This couple, this all-American, good, white couple, are making $200,000 a year and cannot figure out how to buy a home.
Still, it's not enough.
The typical first-time home buyer, the share actually dropped to the lowest level we've ever recorded in our 41-year history of the report. We also saw that the age jumped to the highest we've ever seen before.
To give you some better perspective, just over a quarter of homes sold between July of 2021 and the end of June 2022 were purchased by first-time buyers. That's a dramatic drop from the historic benchmark of 40%. And the average age, normally around Kevin and Hayden's, is now up to 36. Housing experts say part of the problem can be...
y'all hitting the wall now. Y'all got to hit the home buying wall. Y'all know how y'all say she hit the wall because she passed the age of 35, so don't no man want her no more. Now y'all hitting the proverbial home buying wall.
To rent soaring along with inflation, sapping savings, as well as the fact that first-time home buyers aren't facing an even playing field.
First-time home buyers, they do not have home equity to begin with. And we know that repeat buyers...
Jun Zhu literally just explained what I already explained to you. They don't have home equity already. So how you going to compete with me and I'm buying up everything in Metro Detroit? And you got to fight against institutional investors. That's another thing that they're not including inside of this. Institutional investors are now parking money inside of homes. And you got to deal with overseas buyers who never even touch the soil that is purchasing up these homes. And you got to deal with the people that's moving away from New York and California with all of this money because they inflated what was going on over there. And so now they moving into TO City, they moving into Texas, they moving into Florida, they moving into middle America, they moving into Atlanta. They going to all of these places. They moving to North Carolina, Charlotte, Austin, Dallas. They moving all over America, Vegas, because they don't want to be too far away from what's going on over in LA. They selling their homes. They coming in with a bunch of money. They make a bunch of money. They raising the home prices in your area. They buying up all of the real estate because they making you a renter. That's the same thing that I'm doing. I'm going to make you a renter. How you going to compete with that? Institutional investors are buying up more real estate than ever before in history. How you going to compete with that?
Do have home equity. They already have a house.
All of these factors have thrown a wrench in many plans, along with geography in Kevin's case. The top two states for new residents are Texas and Florida, and a flood of new people means more demand. And
what did I just say? People that are in southern Florida are moving further north into Florida. So the people in southern Florida, if you're down in the Keys, you're down in the Miami area, you're down in Fort Lauderdale, they starting to move a little bit closer up to Palm Beach, and then they move a little bit further up to Orlando, and now they can't really afford it, so they really moving into southern Georgia, which is really Jacksonville. Ain't nothing over in Jacksonville, right? I just came from Jacksonville like a month ago. Ain't a whole lot happening in Jacksonville, but they still want to stay in Florida because they like to make sure that they rocking with a Republican state. Texas, same way. All of the people moving over to Houston. Everybody want to go over to Dallas. Bunch of people moving over into San Antonio. Y'all ain't never liked San Antonio. You wasn't even checking. You didn't even go and see the Spurs versus the Pistons. It was the lowest watch finals during the time compared to all of the other finals that was around it. Now everybody getting priced out of Austin. Remember when all of y'all ran down to Atlanta and y'all messed up the economy over there? Yeah, that's what's happening.
Higher prices.
Before the pandemic, the same sort of houses that you were looking at that you were unable to buy, how much would they have cost?
$250,000, $275,000. Now,
how much are they now?
Close to $400,000.
And the younger generation needs more help than ever to get a down payment. The latest National Association of Realtor
Think about it. If that's a $450,000 house, the standard before they lowered it so that y'all can even be able to get in the door in the first place, the standard was for you to have a 20% down payment, right? Think about that. $450,000. Now, if my mental math as a C student serves me correctly, that's the equivalent of $90,000. Most people that make over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. That is a fact. More than half of people that make over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. A. B. Most people do not have enough money that if they had a $500 to $1,000 emergency, they cannot come up with the money in order to make it. Are you going to still sit here and tell me that the middle class is not going away? Are y'all going to still sit here and let these people sell you on the idea that you should not be rich, that $47,000 a year is enough for you to be able to survive and raise a family on? Are you going to tell me that if you make $100,000 a year and after taxes, it's the equivalent of $67,000 a year depending on where you live, that is enough to raise a family of 4 when you still got to pour into your 401k because Social Security is not going to be enough? They have no more pensions for you. You cannot work 30 years anywhere and then be able to retire. Healthcare coverage is going up. Immigration is out of control. Prices are exploding. Inflation are at an all-time high. Confidence in the banking system and fiat currency is continuing to go down. The value of your dollar is continuing to erode. And you're sitting here telling me that it is enough to be able to raise a family on $47,000 a year. I'm telling you that you're going to have to pick a side. You're going to have to pick whether or not you want to be rich or whether or not you want to be poor. Because nobody is going to have any mercy on you. They're going to say, give me my rent, give me my money, or you can get the hell out of my house. They are coming with these evictions. These pauses on your student loans are not going to last much longer. The Supreme Court is still in the process of hearing Biden's request for him to be able to remove your student loan debt. The cost of college is going to continue to go up. The cost of chicken is going to continue to go up. The cost of rent is going to continue to go up. Your property taxes and the amount that they taxing you from the federal government because they continue to print money and they're not paying down the national debt is going to continue to go up. The cost of a movie ticket is going up. The cost of a flight is continuing to go up. You're going to have to pick a side of whether or not you want to be rich or poor. There is no middle. There is no gray area. There is no opportunity for you to just sit in the middle and be comfortable. You can live in order to work, or you can work in order to live. One thing is for sure. Two things is for certain. It's playing out in front of our very eyes. You do not have enough, and you will not have enough unless you are very intentional on how it is that you spend your money. You're going to have to make the sacrifice early so that you can have the opportunity to do what you want to do later on. Either you can do it my way or you can do it the Biden way. Either you can do it to where you can control whether or not you want to buy and do the things that you want to do, or you can beg Biden for a handout and for him to forgive your student loans because you picked a basket weaving degree that is going to pay you less than $60,000 a year, and nobody is coming to save you. They not giving you reparations, fam. They're not giving you reparations. They not coming to save you, homie. You can beg, borrow, steal. You can ride out with Dr. Umar Johnson. Dr. Umar Johnson begged more people for money in order to fix a school, and he can't even keep his windows unboarded. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. All of these black community, Black Panther power leaders, all they doing is keeping you poor. They're distracting you from what power really is. You know what power is? Money, honey. Being able to leverage your resources in order to buy the things, to make the decisions and determine the fate of other people is power. It's power. There will be no more middle class. You're going to have to pick a side. You want to be poor or you want to be rich. It's only going to be two. It's two choices. You can sit here and argue about modern women. You continue to argue about abortion policies. You continue to be distracted by what's going on with the Trump administration as far as them trying to, him a bust down as hush money and all of that other type of shit. I'm telling you, it ain't a race war. It's a class war.
Numbers show more than a quarter are staying with friends or family to save for a down payment. And the majority are making sacrifices, cutting back on luxury goods, clothes, and entertainment to save up. But it's unclear if first-time homebuyers might catch a break in the market as mortgage rates have fluctuated. But industry experts are predicting 30-year fixed mortgages are expected to drop by the beginning of next year.
Look at what they still selling y'all. 30-year fixed mortgages. Do the math. Do the math before you apply for a mortgage. By the time you get done paying for that mortgage, hear me out. You're going to pay more than triple of what you purchased that house for, hoping that the value of the house continues to appreciate. And the only way that you're going to justify it is the same old talking points by saying, well, it's better than paying rent. Well, that's because you don't understand things from a business perspective. Y'all still think that owning cars is the move, don't you? Anton didn't say that. Y'all still think that owning cars is the move, don't you? You don't even know how to write it off. You don't even know what you can write off. You don't know nothing. You out here running around like a chicken with your head cut off because you don't know nothing about nothing. And the only thing that you doing is running around with regurgitated talking points based off of what somebody else already conditioned you to believe. Don't you know that the whole 30-year mortgage thing was made up by the banking industry as a marketing tactic, and you still running around, and they did it successfully. They did it so successfully. Y'all know what y'all need to go and watch? Y'all need to go and watch this series. It's called, his name was something Draper, and they were the marketing guys. What's the name of that series? Somebody in the text, in the chat, tell me what the name of that series is, where they were marketing guys, and it was like back in the early 40s, 50s, and 60s or whatever like that. And they were coming up with all of the different slogans in order to sell to people. What was it called? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know what that is. I'm going to be looking in the chat.
That allows for more buying power. Also, we see less competition in the marketplace. So those bidding wars and the lines out the door to see one home and timed entries, those are really ideas of last year.
A tidal wave of obstacles could finally show signs of turning.
I would have thought I would have.
Mad Men. Mad Men. That's the name of it. Y'all need to watch Mad Men. It is so many gems in that of how it is that they're able to market effectively to you, and you don't even know that it's being. When you go into the grocery store, right? Your eyes. I learned this in retail, right? Your eyes are naturally going to go based off of whatever the average height of the average person is, right? And so as your eyes scan the aisle, don't you know that there's brands that fight for a specific space in the end caps? The end caps is at the end of the aisle and at the middle of the aisle, because you're less likely to look down or up in order to purchase the things that's probably the best and most healthy for you. Down or up is where your eyes usually does not go. You always gonna scan the middle of the aisle, and they fight for the end caps. They will literally pay grocery stores in order to be on the end caps. You don't even know where their greatest margins are. You don't even understand why Walmart brought in a grocery section as a part of their whole marketing strategy. They don't really make any money off of groceries. The only thing that's really profitable as far as higher margins in groceries is in the dairy section. It's in the perishables. It's too much waste, and the margins are too low as far as what it takes in order to bring in all of the other stuff. They bring that in, right? They call that loss leaders, hoping that you go and buy some socks, that you go over into the electronics aisle, that you start to navigate over into the middle of the space and be able to pick up a dress or a t-shirt, or you go and look at some Christmas decorations. You don't know shit about marketing, bro. You don't even know why you doing it. You doing it based off of something that somebody else told you and marketed it to you. And so you running around with these easy talking points that don't even mean nothing. It's wild. It's wild, bro.
Bought a house by now, I would have already invested into that. But the hope is that we can get the house that I think that my family and I deserve.
And that is a glimmer of optimism for this couple and
Reading
so
Super
many
Chat
like
shortly.
them who just started their search at the wrong time.
I want to bring in.
So, what is the purpose of what it is that I'm telling you, right? And I'm going to read the Super Chats now. I'm about to start reading the Super Chats. What am I trying to teach you guys? How am I trying to show you different things? Why am I using these different articles in order to illustrate a point of how you're supposed to be moving financially? Why you need to make better decisions? Why you need to make the sacrifices now so that your parents and your daughter and your son don't have to suffer as a result of your decision making? The faster you come to the realization, the quicker you come to the realization, the quickest that you come to the realization that the war is with finances, power, money, the perception of money, and looking at things from a business perspective versus the have-nots and the know-nots, the quicker you'll be able to separate yourself from the middle of the pack as far as those that are still running in the rat race, trying to figure out what wealth really looks like and how it really feels. You can have everything at your fingertips, but the thing you're going to have to do is change your mindset first and thinking that you know something and realize that you don't know anything. And the minute that I realized is that I didn't know anything, that's when I started to learn everything. And then when I started to learn everything, I realized the more that I find out, the less I really want to know. Because there's so many different things that's happening behind the scenes that you know not of. And just because you're looking at the presentation layer doesn't mean that you're informed as to how things really is supposed to be or why you should make better decisions in order to affect what it is that you have going on. I don't move based off of the standards of society. I move based off of my standards and what's best for my family. Let me read some of these super chats. Y'all should be very scared, honestly. Nino C says, appreciate you, bro. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Nino C. And I appreciate you for the 10 ball, for what it is that we do over here. Persevere Data TV says, more reasons to stay down with the 20 ball. I appreciate you, Persevere Data. You always hold me down. Ali G says, I joined the Patreon about a month ago. There are 18 states that 100% disabled veteran will be property tax exempt. That is also a finesse. A lot of people don't know anything about that. Texas is one of them. Shout out to Dallas. I love Dallas. And shout out to you for the 10 ball. If you are married to a veteran, y'all need to go and get with some of these dudes that are a veteran. Marriage is more than just love. It's a business decision. Let me say it again for the people in the back. I know y'all don't want to hear this. Marriage is more than love. It is a business decision. Get you a veteran. Get you a veteran. The ability for them to be able to use their GI Bill in order for you to go to school. The ability for them to be able to use the exemption from property taxes. They can get in quicker into a home. The barrier to entry is much easier. Get you a veteran. Stop overlooking these good men that served our country. Get you a veteran. They're going to get you some good benefits. They're going to get you into a house quicker. They're going to be able to leverage what it is that they got from the federal government from serving our country in order to ensure that you and your kids got safe haven. You don't want to hear me. You think that marriage is about love. I hear you though. Enigma Inc. says, with the fireball says, that is there a more efficient way to pay off a 30-year mortgage than paying an extra payment annually? I wouldn't say annually. I would say monthly. First of all, you want to make sure that your mortgage or the payment has no penalties, no prepayment, no early payment penalties. That's A. The second thing is, most people that get a 30-year mortgage, they say to me, well, Anton, I'm just going to get a 30-year, but I'm going to pay it off in 15. They lying to you. They're going to pay it off in 30. All right. The biggest thing is when you get your statement, first of all, I wouldn't even go into a home that I can't afford because I'm setting my standards based off of Western society. Get what you need and then work your way up. The more equity that you can have in a home, you can start to even look at it from a business perspective, and you can even implement a 1031 exchange. A 1031 exchange is when you move over from one property to the other. You don't have to pay taxes if you're able to, I don't want to get into that because that's Patreon level content. We have a video about how to use the exchange in order to be able to leverage your resources and your assets in order to continue to build more wealth. But that's a whole nother conversation. I would say that first start off with getting a 15-year. Secondly, make sure that you're not buying more that you can afford. Third, make sure that you pay off as much as you can faster, because the quicker that you pay off your mortgage and paying more on a principal, the less or the more that you save and how much you're paying in interest to the mortgage company. It's very basic math. Brock, shout out to Brock, says, I remember watching the Property Brothers, the twins, and I was baffled by how these buyers had those humongous budgets. Shout out to Brock with the fireball. How To Man is in the building. Says the military is one of the greatest opportunities our young black brothers and sisters can take advantage of. That is a fact. A lot of people will sell you, well, ain't no black man supposed to go into the military. Okay. Ruckus says, Anton, for educational purposes, can you put my area, Miami Lakes, Florida house prices on Zillow and compare that to the average salary of $53,000? There is no middle class. Let me see. Miami Lakes, Florida, Zillow. Let's pull it up. It's one way to solve for that. Let's find out what we're working with in Miami Lakes, Florida. Look at this basic house. Jesus. This house cannot be any more basic. Look at this house, y'all. This is a regular ranch. This is a ranch. 3 bedrooms, 2,400 square feet, built in 1989, single family residence, 2-car attached garage, and you got to pay $120 annually for the homeowners association fee. $1 million. $1 million. First thing that I pulled up is $1 million. Yeah. Middle class, $47,000 a year. Okay, I see you. Shout out to my dog. I appreciate you. Let me continue because I'm giving them a dose of reality today. They don't want to talk about it, but we going to get into it. Let me read the rest of these super chats because I got something else I want to talk to y'all about. Shout out to you, big dog. I appreciate you for the 10 ball. Philip Sadiq holding me down with the 20 ball. Always just dropping something for me and never even saying nothing, just balling. Shout out to Kevin Robinson Jr. says, I have 20 doors in my portfolio and I rent a loft. Now you sounding like me, Kevin. Now you sounding like me. People in my family call me crazy for not living in a house. Yet I'm the only one with assets in my family while they're broke. Go figure. I'm going to give y'all the real finesse inside of the Patreon of how it is that you can. I'm not a financial advisor. I only give y'all the game on what it is that I do and how I live my life. Shout out to my dog, Kevin. I appreciate you. Adonis, 1909, says anyone who lives and enlists out of Texas is entitled to an extra benefit from the state called the Hazelwood Act. It is 160 college credit hours for free after the GI Bill is used. Now, listen, hold on, Adonis. This is Patreon conversations that's had inside of the Discord. We can't just be giving out all of the game to these people. They not even trying to do the thing that's in their own best interest. Why should we be giving them all of this sauce? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ben. Ben says, I see you know about Miami from yesterday's stream. If you want more credibility, it's South Florida, not Southern Florida. Good stream as usual. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you for the information and also for the correction. I am open to being corrected. I am not always technically right, but I know what I know. You know what I'm saying? Let me share this last story with y'all because it's some monsters out here. There's some real monsters out here. All right? I'm going to go ahead and play this, and then we're going to mine it out.
It is a story you saw first on 2. A man and woman in custody. Investigators say they confessed to following a woman from a bank, then attacking and robbing her. She was just released from the hospital after suffering a back injury during the assault. Taisha Walker spoke with the woman and is live downtown with the newest information. Taisha.
Shout out to Taisha. Taisha. What was the name that he said in the song? You are the girl that I never had.
Keith, the mother of 3, says she is shocked but grateful that there are arrests in this case. She also says that she hopes that the male suspect in particular, who is responsible for her injury and for her being in a wheelchair, that he learns his lesson from all of this.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Chief?
We were just about to sit down with Nung Chung and her children when Houston Police Chief...
No, Nung Chung. Now y'all keep wondering why they keep doing this Asian hate bill and this Asian hate crime and stuff like that. It's because y'all can't control yourself. And you decided that you wanted to run up on Young Chung. All right. Or Nun Chung. I'm going to call her Young Chung.
Troy Finner called to notify them of the 2 arrests he was about to announce.
Look at him. This is yo people. These are yo people. They not my people. These are yo people. These are the people that y'all keep telling me, Anton, we need to hold down our brothers and sisters. You got I don't even know how to say this without even being y'all getting mad at me and saying Anton is not for the black community. You got Lil Baby over here. And you got Bonquisha over here with the baby hairs. Smoked out. Both of them been smoking their entire life since they was infants. Making us look bad out here in these streets. But Anton, we got to celebrate the black. All black people ain't bad.
Announced in a press conference.
I really want to thank everybody, the entire team, for getting these 2 individuals in custody.
Houston police say 17-year-old Joseph Harrell and 19-year-old
17 and 19. 17 and 19 is out here putting paws on Young Chung for a couple dollars. Has paralyzed Young Chung for a couple dollars. A 17-year-old. Now, don't tell me that he don't fit the description. Listen, y'all keep telling me, Anton, You can't profile. We can't be stereotyping. Damned if I don't. If I see Bebe walking down the street, don't tell me that I should not have my hand on my pistol, on my legal concealed carry pistol. Because if I see Bebe and Bonquisha walking down the street, I'm going to be on high alert. Don't tell me. I got something to lose. And you do too. And you do too. Keep on walking around like a whole fool and not a half fool and watch this 17-year-old man knock your face off and paralyze you. He literally put this chick in a wheelchair, paralyzed her, and she got 3 kids. And now we sitting and wondering why they keep having these hate bills and all of this junk coming across. Okay, let's continue.
Nika Woods followed Trung 24 miles from a bank to a shopping center last month to rob her of the envelope of cash she withdrew. Investigators say Woods drove while Harrell approached Trung, body slammed her, and ran back to the car with the $4,200.
Followed her 24 miles. Listen to what he's saying. Followed her 24 miles, beat the fuck out of her, body slammed her, all for $4,200. They will knock your head off for nothing. They will put you and paralyze you for nothing. Don't care about their own life. 17 years old will throw away their whole life, will follow you for 24 miles. Don't care about your family. Don't care about your kids. Don't give a fuck about nothing that you stand for. They will follow you for 24 miles, body slam you, take your little bit of money, and leave you paralyzed.
I really need support from everyone to help me able to walk again.
Trung was just released from the hospital yesterday after spending more than a month trying to gain back her mobility after the injury. Doctors say it could be a year or even longer before she can walk again.
It's been difficult since she's the only one who's working to provide food for us and everything.
Trung says she's happy Harrell is off the streets. She's even more grateful for the outpouring of support she's receiving from the community.
I'm glad we got this guy arrested, and we're standing with you through your recovery. Anything that you need from us, just let us know, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Trung is the only one in her family able to work because her husband died several years ago. With her
widowed. A widowed woman with 3 kids getting followed to the bank, body slammed and beat up by Lil Nug Nug. That's what y'all said in the chat. And these are the people that I'm supposed to support. These are the people that Yo, I had somebody that sent me a message. They sent me a DM and they was kicking my ass. They said, Anton, you should be doing even more for the community. Despite all of the guys that you mentored, they ain't say despite all of the, I'm adding that part in. Despite all of the guys that you mentored, despite all of the people's businesses that you funded, despite the amount of money that you give away, despite the support and the community service that you've done, despite doing a homelessness project for over a year. I volunteered doing a homelessness project for over a year. And they think that I'm about to go into the community. Let me tell you something. Let me show you something. This is literally impromptu. Let me show you what my community is. I'm going to show you something really quickly. I was not planning on doing this. I drove by my, I'm going to literally airdrop this real quick into my computer. I drove by my, a lot of people think that I was raised with a silver spoon in my mouth, right? Let me close this. A lot of people think that I was raised with a silver spoon in my mouth. I drove by my childhood home yesterday, and I was actually texting Rita back and forth. And I said, Rita, I really want to buy my childhood home. Like, of all of the things that I've ever done, of all of the things that I've wanted to do, my main goal over these last 5 years is to buy my childhood home. Now, when I first made an offer for this home, all right, I got to show this to y'all because I really, really want y'all to understand where my heart is. When I say that I'm back in my community and I'm doing the work, I'm back in my community and I'm doing the work. When I first made an offer to buy my childhood home, I offered her a significant amount of money. The home has deteriorated even more. Now, ironically enough, they own a home, but this is the worst house on the block. When I say I'm trying to buy up my community, I'm buying up land, I'm secretly buying up the block. I'm secretly buying up my childhood home, or trying to buy up my childhood home. I went and talked to her yesterday. Let me show you what my childhood home yesterday. These are pictures. I did not know I was even going to show this. These are pictures from my childhood home. I'm going to show you the first photo. See if I can get that up there. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. Let me blow that all the way up. Look at this, y'all. This is a picture of my childhood home. You see that? Do you see the holes in it? You see what my junk looked like? My childhood home looked like? This is where I was raised. This is where I was raised. I was raised right here, 20214. I stayed in this house until I became an adult. This is my childhood home. Look at all of the trash. Look at the house. Y'all keep saying Anton wasn't raised in the hood. Anton wasn't raised in Detroit. This is 20214 Green Lawn. I'm trying to save the neighborhood. I'm trying to actually buy my childhood home. There's more. There's more. Don't worry. I'm going to show you what the drive. This is what the driveway looks like. This is the driveway, y'all. This is my childhood home. This is the driveway of my childhood home. Wild, ain't it? It's absolutely insane. This is where I grew up. If you look closely, if you look really, really closely, you can see over here, right here, there's a basketball hoop in the back. My father built a basketball rim and a whole full half-size court, and he put up lights in the back, and he kept us in the house, and he kept all of the neighborhood kids safe by allowing for them to come over and play basketball every day. And so I grew up on the court. All we did from the time that I could even remember opening my eyes to the time that I, went through high school, it's all we did was hoop all day, every day. We would walk over to the Johnson Center, which was the community center, and we would hoop over there, and we would destroy everybody from the neighborhood. This basketball hoop is still standing, and it's a a half-size court back there. Let me give you another view. Let me give y'all another view of what my childhood home looked like. This is the full-size view. This is the whole view of the home. You see all of that trash right there on the porch, and the blinds and the top of the house is falling apart and everything like that. And you know what the funniest part about it is? You know what the funniest part about it is? She still won't sell me the home, even though I offered her more, way more than she could ever have. It's out of spite. Out of spite, this woman will not sell me the home. Now, she don't have to. I'm not entitled to anything, right? I'm not entitled to anything. It's a very, very small, modest home. It's very small, it's modest. It's between 7 Mile and 8 Mile, Wyoming and Livernois. This is the house that I grew up in. This is the house that I grew up in. 20214 Green Lawn is my childhood home. I have previous videos where I went and visited it that it wasn't even in this worst condition. But this is the home that she will not sell me, right? And she won't sell it to me out of spite. I asked her why, and she just won't do it, just because. The guy that lived over to the left, his name was Bernard. The guy that lived over to the right, he passed away. His name was Joe. The woman that lives across the street, shout out to Ms. Rivers. It's bad. It's messed up. So if y'all want to know where I was living, where it was that I was raised, where I come from, the house that I was raised in, why I used to have to walk from all the way over to 7 Mile in order to catch the Hamilton bus, all the way downtown Detroit and back. Every single day I caught the bus, but sometimes it would take me like an hour and a half, depending on the bus route. So I had to get up really early, and I would walk every day down to 7 Mile. Because I'm a block away from 8 Mile, in between 8 Mile and 7 Mile. I would walk every day all the way down to 7 Mile, catch the Hamilton bus all the way to downtown Detroit in order to be able to go to school every day. This is what my life was like. Walking through the hood, this is what my life is like. So, there you have it. Now you get even more transparency into what it is that where I come from, what it is that I do, and why I'm so passionate about my community and the things that I get into on a regular basis. So, neither here nor there. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to get up out of here because I got a meeting that I got to attend. Shout out to Carlos Dorico with the fireball says, but the black diaspora, Anton. People fight against their own best interests, and they'll fight you too, even if you're just trying to change the neighborhood. Shout out to I'm Hotep Drummer Jones said with the 20 ball. Thank you, my friend, for holding me down. Also, Eric Hudson says, me and Keisha just bought our home in LA with my VA. My dog, Eric Hudson, is in the building. Shout out to you. I was looking at your Instagram yesterday, me and Rita. Some of the dopest people that I've ever met in my entire life. Shout out to my dog. How To Man says, imagine what they do for a Klondike bar. Physical Poetry says, hard times require hard decisions. It's time to excommunicate these reprobates, their families, and everyone who looks like them. Everyone can't come. See, now, when I said that, though, Physical Poetry, they said, oh, Anton, you can't say that. Bad, 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 bad. Because I was going off on somebody that was specifically talking about how he sell drugs in the community, how he just got approved in order to get on government assistance, and how he don't care and we need to eat the rich. I said, man, you need to just really, I ain't even going to say what I said. But then they said, oh, Anton, I can't believe you said it. You ain't said to him, and he the one that said that he was selling dope in the community to this day. Neither here nor there. Shout out to EMW. 4950 is in the building. I appreciate you, big dog. Cody Marshall says, get it, Anton. I'm coming for it. Adonis 1909 said, blur the license plate if you can, AD. Nah, I ain't blurring no license plate. You see that house? They need to blur the whole house off the block. I don't even know if I could save that house. I might have to rebuild it and then have it like built from memory of what the rooms and how it was sectioned off and what it looked like. I don't even know if you can save that. It's crazy. Shout out to Jamal Parks with the John 5:5-6-8 says, everybody won't want healing and knowledge, but for those who do, we out here getting this knowledge and we'll make sure our family is financially literate and stable. Keep pushing and appreciate your knowledge and the content. Thank you for the 50 ball. Thank you, Jamal Parks. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody that continues to hold me down. Also, shout out to M Tree holding me down with the 4 ball and the super sticker. I appreciate you. For everybody that tunes into the Millionaire Morning Show, you are much loved. You are much appreciated. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Thank you for allowing me to pour into you. Thank you for allowing me to entertain you. This is by far the greatest show on earth. If you are a part of the Patreon, we got a webinar tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is going to be lit. I'm going to allow for y'all to be able to come up on the panel, ask me any question you want. We talking about money, finances, and I'm going to be pouring into y'all of how it is that y'all can continue to level up, become more successful, and build your business from scratch. All right? I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure that you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. Shout out to Fifth Ave Phil. Says Tax Lien Gang. Check it out. I'm going to look into it, y'all. I'm going to look into it. I tried to be fair with her. I tried to play nice. So now I'm going to have to, tap into some other things and make sure I can get it. Shout out to y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate you. Tell your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Patreon members, I'm going to see y'all tonight. Peace.